Hi, I'm Tom. I'm one of the co-founders of Kniterate, and I'm just going to talk to you today about how you use the machine in a workshop. Okay, we've got a design for a scarf here that we need to turn into code that the machine can understand. At the moment it's just an image in Photoshop. So what the machine wants is basically a bunch of ones and zeros and some other numbers that tell it where it's going to make a stitch and where it's not going to make a stitch, and what yarn carrier it's going to use and how fast it's going to go and all this kind of stuff. So we've got a script that does this, and we work with this, what we call K-code, quite a lot in development, but in the end it will be hidden from the user if they want, or you can go in manually and change things because it's quite understandable to a human as well as the machine. Okay, so now we've got our K-code on the SD card. I come over to the machine and insert it, and then I've got to do a little bit of setup because these aren't quite the colours that I want. So I've got my yarns up here going down into the yarn carriers. This is my waste yarn. The colour doesn't matter for that. That's just knitted for a little bit at the start to get the garment down into the rollers and sort the tension out and stuff. This is the draw thread, which is going to let me separate the waste yarn from the garment at the end, so you just pull it out and then the two come apart easily. But this yarn I am going to use, but I don't want it to be black, I want it to be blue, so I'm going to change the yarn over. So to do that, I've got my blue yarn, I'm going to break the black yarn, get rid of it, and then tie the blue yarn in its place. And then I come over to the machine, and I'm just going to pull the black yarn through until I get the blue yarn through the yarn carrier. And just tuck it up. And then I've got to put the yarn carrier back into position so the machine can pick it up. And then you have to close the machine before it'll let you run it. And then simply turn the machine on and press knit. So the machine's going to go through some homing operations, so it knows where the carriage is, it knows where all the gates and the yarn carriers and everything are. And then it's going to start knitting with some rows of waste yarn to begin with. So for the purpose of this video, we told the machine to stop in between each of these operations, but normally it would just carry on by itself. So it's done the waste yarn now, so the waste is all down inside the rollers and the tension is good. And now it's about to do the draw thread. So here we go. So draw thread's done, and the next thing it will do is cast on with the main yarn. So it just kind of uses all the needles to get nice loops on all the stitches. So I press the button again and it'll do that. So now it's cast on, we've got a waste yarn, and we've got a draw thread, then we've got a casting on. So the machine's all set up and ready to go. And the next thing it will do is it will start knitting the pattern that you saw on Photoshop at the start. So this is the last row of the pattern being knitted now, and the scarf's nearly finished. So after this we need to bind off. So again the machine's going to stop so I can talk about it a bit. Normally we just carry on and do this. And this is a process of closing the garment so that it doesn't come unravelled. So the machine's going to start doing this. And it's quite a slow process. So it passes all the needles to all the stitches to the back, and then it has to kind of join them all through each other. One by one. So the garment's finished now, and the machine's going to eject it, and then I'm just going to snip the last couple of threads. So the rollers kind of push it out. So the garment's finished now, and we have to do one more thing, and that's just separate off the waste yarn. So we come over here, and we've got the draw thread, which you just pull. Not quite in one go. Ta-da! And now it's done.